26th of October, Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
Like Brachas Shlema is like it should be wholeheartedly, I think. There should be a wholehearted bracha.
V'lo yehi ba michshal v'avon, and you should not come to errors or sins me'ata v'ad olam, from now and forever. Okay, umarichin b'tefila zu ad sheyachlu amen shehoda mipi hatzibur. So this is what the Kohanim say. That the Kohanim are walking up. This is before the Kohanim make their own bracha.
Right.
They're saying the Hiratzon as they're walking up, so that when they eventually make the bracha, it will be done properly, etc.
Right. Mayor, are you familiar with this, Mayor?
What are they saying when they walk up? I'm not clear on it.
Your microphone, Mayor, is
Muted.
Okay. No, this is new to me. When I learned to duchen, they never said this.
No, what is the situation as the Kohanim are approaching the duchen? They have to say something.
That's right. Okrim Kohen Ragleim Laolos Duchen, as the Kohanim are moving their feet from their place to go up to Duchen, Omrim, they say a prayer to Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
But not out loud. We don't hear it, right?
Well, you're not close enough to hear it. Get close to them.
And it's separate from the bracha that they give, that they say.
This is completely separate from the bracha. Yes, it's completely different.
Okay.
We can get you, Jerry, one of these little
seen
microphones, and you'll catch it to a couple of tonies. You haven't seen this done.
I haven't seen it done, and I've never seen it even in a siddur. I mean, there are prayers after the duchening, you say.
Right.
But
let's take a look at the Mishnah Berura. We'll see what the Mishnah.
Okay, Lamed Ad Amdu Lifnei HaTeva, until they stand before the Teva, the Aron. Became a minhag akshav now, and similarly as the minhag is now. She'ein omrim also b'derech halichasim. They don't say this while they're walking up kulayam at all. Achar sheyamdu kvar lifnei Teva.
Ki'im, except ki'im. Ki'im achar she'omdim kvar.
So they don't say this at all until they're standing before the Aron itself. V'yomrim modim.
They say modim.
So once the chazan starts modim, or they say modim, then they say this Yihiratzon before they begin the bracha. Right?
They're on the duchen when they finish this.
When they started, and the minute he says the now is they don't start it until they're up on the duchen. They say he wrote on before they say Baruch Hashem.
Right.
Okay. Achi Yichla Amen, until the congregation says Amen. Amen to what?
Amen to the
each blessing. No?
That's before. No, this is before the blessing.
Oh, before.
This is being said while the chazan is. It sounds like this is being said while the chazan is saying modim.
Right. They go up to the duke and they say modim, and while the chazan is saying his modim, right, and then the chazan comes to the end of it. He says the bracha hatov simcha l'chol noel odos,
and then we say amen.
Then they say amen, right?
Okay, and that amen goes on the modim of the chazan and on the Yihiratzon. It sounds like that modim goes, that amen goes on the amen and the Yihiratzon that the Kohanim are saying while the chazan sing Yihiratzon, and once that amen is done, then they call out Kohanim.
Right.
But the olim is in the middle of we're saying modim also.
Right. So but the modim we say is shorter.
We're not listening to anything. We're not listening to anything.
No. It's not that we're listening to anything. Is our modim is shorter than the chazan's modim.
So the
Okay, so
Kohanim,
the
when
Chazan will
the
finish
Kohanim, when
modim.
they're standing on the Duchan, so they stay modim just like anybody else in the tzibur. Then they have some extra time. In the extra time, while the Chazan is still saying his modim, they say this Hirotzon. And then they finish their Hirotzon to correspond with the end of the bracha for Tov Lados. And when everyone says amen to that, they say amen as well.
Ah,
Barry, we have to make some tzetlach for you to give out.
Yeah, listen, we have to get these Kohanim in shape here. Because
so.
we're not, this, well, that's the reason. In English, our shul is called B'nai Shortcut.
see, I thought when they do modim, I
Yes.
think according to Rav Schwab, the Kohanim are supposed to end the modim when the Chazan ends the modim.
Right. Okay.
So then the Chazan goes on and we start covering ourselves up because it goes so quickly.
Right.
Okay, Achi
Well,
Yichlu-
they're not leaving enough time. Seriously, during the week, there's not enough time. You know, by the time you get the Kohanim washed, everybody's scurrying up to the Duchen. I mean, there's no,
Yeah, but this isn't-
Even on
this is-
Shabbos.
yeah,
but that-
especially on Shabbos when you have 5 times as many people.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So I mean, you know, when there's too many people, I just designate every other Kohen and the rest I just go, get up there, you know. And I don't mess around.
Let's see what the let's see the most of the Mishna Brewer here, what he has to say about this.
Lamed Aleph, Achi Yichlal Amen to come to Amen. Lav Dafka Ela Achi Yisayim Hashatz. Not exactly, but when the Chazan finishes Modim, the Loch Na Lahodos, and he gets to Lahodos, Kadesh Yanenu HaKahal Amen Al Shtehem. So the Amen that the Kahal is saying is on Modim of the Shots and Yehirotzon of the Kahanim. That's the Mogan of Ram and Shagas Aryeh, maybe?
Right. Yeah, I think Shar Achroni.
Sharachon, okay, fine. Ulefizeh, and because of this, Pashat the Gam HaKohanim Yanu Amen al Birchas Hashatz, that the Kohanim also say Amen on the Birchas Hashatz, the Kain Matsisi B'Shulchan Shlomo. We see this in Shulchan Shlomo. Be interesting to look at that to see what he's really saying here, because it sounds like he writes about it.
Gam HaKohanim also answer Amen, yeah.
Right. All right, we'll have to, let me see. Well, let's go further. Let me see if I can look something up on this Mishna Brewer and see if anyone speaks about, because apparently, and don't forget the Chavetz Chaim was a Kohen. He knew what he was doing when he wrote this. He experienced this himself. He knew everything about what he was writing. There's no doubt about that. But
Okay. Okay, so this is Yud. Odim Beduchan Pnehem Klape Hahechel. The Arche Klape Ha'am. When they go up to Duchan, their faces are toward the Aron and their backs are towards the piece, but towards the congregation. That's both Sehem Kefufim Latoch Kapehem Ad Shalik Sibor Messiah Modim. And their hands, their fingers are bent towards their, I'm sorry?
yeah, but bent. The kafufim was usually bent. Toch Pnehem.
I don't know what that means.
No, the toch. Well, that was in kafufim. The toch cafe. The calf is the palm of the hand. So it's like
Oh,
this.
so the fingers are bent into, okay. So the fingers are bent into their palms.
Right.
Ache Shliach Sibur Messiah Modim, until the Shliach Sibur finishes Modim, Va'az Imhain Baruch Va'az Imhain bays. If there are at least two kohanim, kori lehem shots kohanim, then the shots, or usually somebody in the congregation calls out kohanim.
If by Ashkenazim, usually it's somebody else, like the Gabbai.
Right.
By the Svardim, if you ever notice, usually it's the shots who does it.
Yes.
You notice the shots, and by the Svardim, usually and that's what the Mr. Brewer is saying here. It's usually the shots. And where we got the minhag that the Gabbai does it, I don't know. Mr. Brewer mentioned several times already that it's always the shots. He always refers to the shots or the chazan.
I've always been told that the reason that the shots doesn't say it, Kol HaKohanim, is it's a hefsek in his Amida.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
he's not saying his Birkos Kohanim. So to call out Kohanim is a hefsek in his Amida. And therefore
Right.
he doesn't say it, somebody else calls it out.
Right. He's not supposed to answer main to the bracha of the Kohen either. I mean, the first bracha, Sheker Shana.
Right.
Not supposed to, but it's for the same reason. So I could
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Haggah, lo yamar Elokeinu ve'elokei avoseinu v'chulu, v'yesh omrim she'omrim osanu belacha. She says it quietly, ad melos kohanim, v'oz amru b'kol ram, and they say it out loud, v'chozer v'omer gam kedushecha kamor, Belachash. He says, "I'm Kedushecha Kamor Belachash." The key nogim b'midyas elu. That's the minhag in Ashkenaz. Umakzirin pneihem klapei ha'am, and then the Kohanim turn their faces towards the people. Ve'im haya aleph, and there's only one Kohen who's duchenim. In a kori lo elahu me'atzmo machzir machazir panav. They don't call out, and just he turns around by himself. Now, that's really interesting because the minhag, or not the minhag, but the way to do it is that after the Kohanim are called, then the Kohanim make the bracha, and in the middle of the bracha they turn around. And
Right.
the Mishnah Berura and the Shulchan Aruch do not seem to be saying that there's a bracha the Kohanim make.
Right.
Because they've already turned around and he hasn't mentioned the bracha yet.
Right. Didn't mention anything about the bracha. You're right. Why is that? I'm not sure why that is. A good point.
Okay. Mishnah Berura Lamed Beis.
Right.
Vesposehem kafufin, and his fingers are bent. Ratzalomer she'enam tzrichin lifros kapehem. They're not required, I guess, to spread out their hands.
Yeah. He's just saying this is just in contrast to that they should have to put out their hands. So they're basically saying they can keep their hands in a relaxed fashion until they're ready to actually do the bracha.
Okay, imhem shnaim, if there's two of them, Iksiv Omer Lahem is plural. Dahainu Lomer LeKohanim, Sheyivorchu Es Yisrael, V'Lahem Mashma Shnayim. So it's telling the Kohanim to bless Yisrael, and when it says Lahem, it's Mashma, it means at least two of them. It's the plural.
But when there's only one in my shul, they don't call out Kahan.
Exactly, because it's not Lahem.
Right.
Okay, and he just turns around and starts the bracha, or just starts the bracha.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
Kohanim, v'lo chashiv hapasach b'tefila, v'lo chashiv hefsek b'tefila. This is not considered an interruption in the tefillah. Kamo lo chashiv hefsek mashatzatz mikra lahem mila. Just like it's not considered a hefsek when the shots calls out each of the individual words of the brachas. The hatam, and the reason is the gam kain sarach tefillah zub, because this is a required part of the tefillah. So just like when the shots calls out the individual words of Yivrecha and so on, that's not a hefsek, and having the shots call out kohanim is not a hefsek either. Okay, Lamed Hey, the lo yomar Elokeinu ve'elokei avoseinu. That's part when the shots doesn't say that. V'hatam shelo nitakain elevizman she'ein kohanim, because that was only they only required that elkein to be said in a time when there weren't kohanim mevorkin ba'atzman, when the kohanim were not blessing the people themselves. Aval kivin she'kohanim mevorkin ba'atzman lamer yomer chatzatz. Why, since the kohanim are doing the bracha, why does the shots have to say anything?
Right, so you don't say that if there are, only if there are no coin, then you only say that, right?
Right. The Chazav Omar Am Kedushecha, the shot says Am Kedushecha Komor silently. Hanu Hashatz, Umashanogim Be'ezim Komos, and that which we are knowing in certain countries, Shekahanim Omrim Am Kedushecha Komor Toshi. And when the Kohanim say that, that's a mistake.
Right. They shouldn't be saying that, right?
They shouldn't be saying it. Okay, Machzirin Paneim, and they turn their faces towards the congregation. The Alfinin, the Gemara, Shabiras Kohanim Sorik Leos Panim Kedeged Panim. We learn in the Gemara that the Birkas Kohanim has to be face to face. The Ein Sorik Leos Panei Kohanim Klape Hashatz, and the face of the Kohanim they do not have to face the shots himself, Dafka. And even if the congregation, the shul is set up that the in the north, and the place where the shots davens is before him, the Mizrach in the east, and the Kohanim are sitting before the Heichel in the northern part of the shul, Pneihem Ladorim, and their faces are to the south, Klape'am, facing the people. Okay.
So even in that case, that's
Where I guess the shots is off to the side and not directly and not really in front of the Kohanim, that's okay.
right. There's no need for the Kohanim to face these shots, wherever he may happen to be.
Okay. V'yesh Omer, and those who say Shatov Yoser, it's even better. Shakohanim Yamdu b'Mizrach, that the people stand in the east.
If the Kohanim stand in the east.
I'm sorry, the Kohanim stand in the east. Afal pi shehachechel hu litzad acher, even if the shul is pointed in a different direction. V'ha'am Yamdu negdam, and the people stand opposite them. Paneim neged paneim, face to face. That's in Pri Chodesh, Pri Megadim, and I don't know what the middle one is.
Okay. It looks like we're getting pushed around here. There's other people logging in.
Yeah, you will have to stop now. And we'll continue
okay.
We're in the middle. We're right in the middle of this, but we have to stop, and we'll continue this tomorrow.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Hey, Lou,
Yep,
which link for Rabbi Levitt today?
stay right here.
Stay right here? Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Very good. See you soon.